Hey everybody, this is the PageantCast, and we're so excited. We have the first runner-up to Miss USA, Miss Oklahoma USA 2010, Morgan Woolard, on the air with us tonight here on the PageantCast.
Welcome to the PageantCast, your home for beauty pageant news and interviews on the internet.
PageantCast episode 329.
That's right, everybody. We are here live for PageantCast 329. It's a beautiful day here in Muskego, Wisconsin, and we are so excited because we have a huge interview tonight, and we are going to get right to it. So we'll start in just one moment with Morgan Woolard, Miss Oklahoma USA 2010.
It's time for another great interview on the TKPN Podcasting Network.
And we are live. We have Morgan Woolard. Hello, Morgan.
Hello.
So wonderful to see you tonight. Now, unfortunately, you can't see me, so I can do whatever I want over here, which makes me feel very free. So, Morgan, where are we calling you tonight?
I am in Stillwater, America, Little Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Now, I don't know much about Oklahoma. What can you tell me as the number one citizen of Oklahoma?
I think the most important thing here is that the people are wonderful, and you don't ever meet a stranger. The weather's a little crazy, and one day you'll be in shorts, the next day you'll be in a jacket, and the next day you'll have an umbrella out. So there's a lot of unpredictability, but I love it, and this will always be home for me.
Fantastic. Now, Oklahoma has had a lot of success in pageants. Miss America, Miss USA, yeah. You obviously being one of the most obvious. What is it about Oklahoma? Is there something in the water? What's going on out there?
That's a great question. I'm not really sure. I guess there's a lot of well-rounded, ambitious, beautiful ladies here. I can certainly attest to that here at Oklahoma State University. There's beautiful men all over the place, so I think there might be something in the water.
Well,
that should be a research project I can look into. Well,
certainly you had a double dose. So tell me a little bit about your pageants or your past pageants before you got involved at Miss USA. What other pageants have you been involved in?
Well, the first pageant I entered was Miss Oklahoma Teen USA. I was 16 years old. It was the first pageant I ever entered. I had no clue what I was getting myself into, nor did I know the magnitude of the pageant, because the year I won was the last year it was televised on NBC. It was in 2006. So it was my first pageant, over 70 girls, and I took home the crown. And that set off the whole path for my life. It changed my life completely, and that's why I'm here interviewing with you today.
Well, we would have found any excuse we could to get to interview you. There's no question about that. So what types of opportunities have opened up from pageantry based on your success?
The opportunities are so innumerable. I mean, it's really amazing. I don't think people understand how the pageant system benefits a young woman. The confidence that it gives helps her in every career she pursues, her interview skills, her people skills. I, for one, am going into journalism and broadcasting, so I'm very comfortable with people, and I'm very comfortable in front of the camera, and those opportunities are going to help me throughout my entire life. But as far as the pageant specific opportunities, of course, everything within the entertainment industry. I've been able to do red carpet corresponding. I've been in commercials. I've done a little acting here and there, and a very large amount of modeling, all because of my success in pageantry.
So what has been your favorite modeling experience? What has been the best thing you've gotten involved in that regard?
I would say last year I signed with an agency in Athens, Greece, And I've always been fascinated by other countries and cultures. I love meeting new people, new environments and atmospheres, and tasting new foods. And the culture experience was just incredible. When you step outside of your comfort zone, you grow exponentially as a person. And that opportunity to model was what brought me to Greece in the first place. And experience is the ability modeling has given me to travel the world and travel the country, and to now have friends from all over the world. It's really remarkable.
So, Morgan, what have been some of the great friendships that you've gained through pageants?
There are 3 friendships in particular that come to mind. After I won Miss Oklahoma USA, I started modeling for Tony Bowles in Little Rock, and was Katie Stam, Miss America 2009, Ana Rodriguez, Miss Texas USA 2011, third runner-up Miss USA, and Ashley Durham, who was also first runner-up Miss USA.
Okay. Well, Morgan, tell us a little bit about, I read over your bio, and you talk a lot about time management skills. Now, did your time management skills grow out of pageantry or out of sheer terror?
Definitely out of pageantry. I am the youngest in my family. You know, change doesn't bother me, and I'm very spontaneous. I'm not a planner, and I just kind of go with things. So pageantry sort of forced me to be a lot more organized and to manage my time. And I have the opportunity to practice that daily. For example, I had a runway show. Actually, I had 2 runway shows on Sunday. Then I had a photo shoot afterward, and then I had an essay to write, and I had to study for 2 midterms, all due this morning. And so trying to fit all into a 24-hour period, you're wishing the day would be extended.
What publications or websites do you use to keep up on pageantry?
Oh, goodness. You know, I don't really use a lot of publications. I just keep up to date with my friends. And I think on social media networks like Twitter and Facebook, you manage to network with so many pageant contestants, and, you know, your friends list has so many of them there that I think the newsfeed in itself gives you a pretty good idea of what's going on. And just personal friendships, I hear from ladies that I know well, what's going on in their lives and in the pageant scene.
Yeah, absolutely. And they changed Twitter again today on me. It looks different. When did they do that? I just noticed they changed it.
They're always changing things up on us, huh?
Yeah.
Keeping us on our toes.
Yeah, and, you know, I was just getting used to timeline over on Facebook, and then Twitter all changes on me.
Right.
I don't know. They're trying to drive me crazy. Can't they tell I'm an old man and can't change things? So, okay. Now, while you were Miss Oklahoma USA, I know you made a ton of appearances. Are there any appearances that, looking back now, that you go, that was something special and I may never get to do again?
It was the Special Olympics Awards Banquet that they hold in January every year. And it was especially special to me because I was, I did that appearance when I was a teen. Miss Oklahoma Teen USA in 2006, that was my very first appearance. And so to be welcomed back in 2010 was so amazing. And I got to see so many of the same faces, and those kids are an inspiration. I love them, and it was something I will never forget. And that was my first experience to really get to know my teen well, Candace Holt, and we really bonded over that appearance. And the other one, I would say attending the Cotton Bowl. That was amazing because I'm a sports media fan. I'm a diehard sports fan. I love it. I've been a competitor my whole life athletically, and that was so neat to not only represent my state at the Cotton Bowl, but to also represent my university, Oklahoma State University, who is playing in the Cotton Bowl. So that was very cool. See Jerry's World in Dallas. That was a pretty amazing stadium.
Now, going on in the future, what's next for Morgan Woolard? Are there pageant systems that need to be frightened that you're coming along?
Man, God only knows. That's the story of my life, Tim.
Okay.
Figuring out what's next. It's funny because I'm constantly changing my mind. And, I've always been a dreamer my whole life. I've dreamed big, never small. And I'm for things. I'm always setting goals for myself. And, when something's over, I say, okay, what's next? What's the next accomplishment? What's the next endeavor I can challenge myself in? I love to take risks, and I'm not afraid to fail. And I think that's why I've been so successful, is because I'm not afraid to put myself out there. I believe that when you take risks, that's where the greatness is really achieved. And you can't be great unless you conquer that fear of failure. And so, I don't know if I'll ever get back on a stage. Never say never. I don't have any plans right now, but I just love so much the ability that pageantry gives me to have a platform and to have some kind of position of influence to make a difference, because all in all, that's my heart. And I think it's so special that pageantry allows us the opportunity to be an influence and to do good things and to change people's lives and to make a difference in some small measure.
So thank you for being so honest about that. Now people can relax a little bit until things change. So that's great.
Do you think I should compete again?
Yeah, absolutely. And I need to be there. Why?
What pageant system would you recommend him?
We'll talk about that off the air. I'm not going to do that on the air. I'm not crazy, okay? Not to mention, I don't think any of the pageant systems would be real happy about that if I said that. But that was very cute. You almost caught me. So, modeling-wise, I know you've been very busy with that. What's next modeling-wise for you?
Oh boy, the next job, man, I've been bouncing all over the place. It's crazy to think about, but I have not been in Oklahoma City, I'm living in Stillwater.
Okay.
I haven't been in Oklahoma since Christmas because I've been traveling every single week. I don't know how I'm doing this, being a full-time student and still traveling and working. I try to be Superwoman sometimes, and I take on so many things. It's been a little overwhelming, but even before school started, I had 2 contractual agreements, and in January, I missed 2 of the first 3 weeks of school because I was shooting in Maui and Little Rock. So it's been sort of a catch-up game for me. The most of my modeling was in January and February, but the next job, I believe I am modeling in a show here in the city, in Gaillardia. It's a really upscale neighborhood in Oklahoma City.
Okay, well, that's fantastic, and we can't wait to see all those photos. You always put photos out on the Facebook feed, but really, you need to do this for me. When you put those photos out there, could you give me a warning so I can have, like a defibrillator nearby or something like that? Because they've been heart stoppers quite a few times. Thank you so much, Morgan. It's been wonderful getting to talk to you this evening, and lovely to get to know you just a little bit better. Now,
it's my pleasure.
Oh, it was our pleasure, absolutely. For those of you watching tonight, we want to remind you that we come to you live every Monday night, 9:15 Eastern, 8:15 Central, 7:15 Mountain, 6:15 Pacific, Skype allowing. We try to get on air. And next,
I know, right?
Yeah, exactly. Next week, we're going to have Erin Morgard. She's Mrs. Virginia Galaxy 2012. Again, tonight, our very special guest was Morgan Woolard, Miss Oklahoma USA 2010 and Goddess of Oklahoma. And why don't you give us a nice pageant wave as we say goodbye? And so, okay. Oh, you've got that down.
Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for having me. Thanks for listening.
Fantastic. Good night, everybody. And
Mwah. Good night.
Tierra Dreams.